Welcome, Rich Hoops Pod fans. Damian Lillard requested a trade. Before we even talk about that, I just want us NBA fans to internalize how ridiculous this league really is. Of course, the individual playing basketball is so supreme, but the other stuff, the off-course stuff, is what puts everything together to make it the best league in the world. And the last year, again, this is off the top of head, I might be forgetting some stuff, but I just want you to internalize how crazy movement has been in the NBA over the last just 365 days. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden had just requested another trade 48 hours ago. We're about to see Damian Lillard. The Portland Trail Blazers have been informed that Damian Lillard wants to be traded, specifically to the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat. We also saw Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Chris Paul, and it's just a lot of stuff going on, man. And this is why I love it. Again, I can understand the people that don't like this type of player movement as a content creator. Baby, we got bills to pay. And that's what we're doing right here, right now. Okay, so Dame officially requested a trade. I mentioned here on this channel over the last couple months that I refuse to talk about damn rumors or damn trade destinations until either him or the Trailblazers decide that the relationship has ended, and it happened today. The Miami Heat lost Gabe Vincent to the Lakers. Good pickup for the Lakers. We thought that Max Strus just straight up signed to the Cavaliers, and it turned out to be a 3-team trade. And then in that 3-team trade, they just got a second-round pick exchange. Instead of getting like a C.D. Osman, and instead of getting the Lamar Stevens, instead of getting whatever, and I'm in here, on some Brian Windhurst stuff, there must be things going on. They must know something that we do not. And you know who knew the dropping dimes, dude. Who is he? Who is broke? Damian Lillard is probably going to end up on the Miami Heat. And this is where things get real iffy, because obviously Damian Lillard is the best player. In Trailblazers history, we're second best depending on who you ask. I'm saying he's the best S.O. Clyde Drexler, but I'm saying he's the best player in franchise history. He's also under contract for a couple years. If I am the Trailblazers, do I need to send him to his preferred destination? I'll be doing it simply because Dame has, been so loyal to the city. Or should I be thinking about my organization first? I do believe that he's going to end up on the Miami Heat. Only time will tell. And I feel like as soon as I'm done filming this video, the trade is going to happen. It feels like he's going to go to the Miami Heat. It's going to be like, Hyro. It's going to be some stuff. They will do it. They have the 2020, 8 first-round pick and 2030 first-round pick. I'm just thinking about Damian Lillard, as good as he is, as he just came off basically the best year of his NBA career, and that's saying a lot, considering how good Dame has been. The market for Dame isn't as lucrative as you want it to be, because if we take a look at teams across the league, first of all, Dame is telling you himself that he wants to go to this team again. It's up to you whether or not you want to buy that. If we take a look around the league, the teams that wouldn't be interested in Dame a year ago don't really have the same interest. And as of right now, is the Miami Heat and potentially the Brooklyn Nets, because then that's how all the picks. And again, Damian Lillard said a couple months ago that Brooklyn would be a place because he's with Kyle like this. And of course, Dame's with Bam like this. And if the Miami Heat end up turning, Tyler Hero, who didn't play in that playoff run, Gabe Vincent, who was good, but also shot 30 in the finals from 3 or whatever, and Max Strus, one of them shot 30 through. I don't know. I think it might have been Mac. You should have 31 from 3 in the finals. If they turn that into Dame, I know you got a lot of other roster spots that you got to feel, absolutely win. The rich keep getting richer. This is what I was skeptical about all of this, because about a week, none of the rumors of Dame have been going for, as long as the offseason has been going, right? And Joe Cronin had a meetup with Damian Lillard, apparently, and he had a press conference after. He said, "We are still dedicated to build around it. Damian Lillard and build a contender here." There was no conversation from Damian Lillard himself, right? It was Joe Cronin who was in charge over there, saying that he met with Dame, and he feels like that they can build a contender around him. And Dame was like, all right, whatever. Let's see if we see his about. And Woj, the Heat, the Clippers, and the 76 are 3 teams that will have interest in exploring. Damian Lillard, the Blazers are expected to value deals that bring their back young players and draft assets. That's big. I know I'm all over the place. So one take it, things are breaking as we speak. The fact that their value in young players and draft capital, that also tells me that they're not really caring about exactly what Dame is thinking. Dame say, I want to go to the Heat. They say, all right, but we're going to listen to these other offers too. The thing is about these 3 teams, they don't have a bunch of draft capital. None of these 3 teams have a bunch of draft capital. The young asset in the Heat is, of course, Tyler Hero. The young asset for the Clippers, they don't really have one. Terrence Mann is 27. You know what I'm saying? And the 76ers young guys said, it's Tyrese Maxey. Are they throwing Tyrese Maxey into a trade with a couple of first-round picks and then flipping James Harden to the Clippers for Robert Covington to coming back. Or whatever. The 76ers can look a lot different, but it's not just the money. Okay, cool. Taking a step back going to free agency, right? Dame said, hey, I'm going to see exactly what you're thinking. I'm going to see exactly what y'all do. And what did they do early yesterday morning? They released Trent Wofford. I bet now that they know the day. Of course, I'm straight. They wish they still had Trent Wofford on the roster because he's 22 years old, and he was making $1.08 million. And then they gave Jeremy Grant the biggest deal of the offseason so far, which is a 5-year, $160 million contract. Dame was like, I mess with Jeremy, but that ain't the deal that's going to put us in contention. So you know what? I'm going to chunk up my deuces, and I'm moving on to my next seed. But okay, so now we know there are 3 teams. Interesting. And in this, from Woj, we do not see the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Brooklyn Nets also did make a deal. They gave Cam Johnson 4 years, $188, not $180, $108 million, was about $27 million annually, which is a pretty solid contract. For Cam, shout out to him and his fam. But it doesn't seem like they're interested. Or maybe they, I guess we do not know, but they're not one of the 3 teams. That Woj just announced, and I can see why they wouldn't be. They don't have their own first-round pick this season, so that is a reason for them to go out there and just say, hey, let's go get one of the greatest players in the league. And they also got all of these picks from the trades that they could be interested, but they're not in the 3. If they're not in the 3, I think, again, that we're going to look back on whatever trade, and the Trailblazers are probably going to be kicking themselves a little bit that they didn't make this trade last season. But then you get the butterfly effect, the domino effect. If they trade, they made another last season, then maybe they don't end up with the draft odds. That jumped up to get Scoot Henderson. You know what I'm saying? But like, with this being 3 teams, maybe 4 teams being the Brooklyn Nets, being interested in none of those teams have like the mega packets that you want. He wasn't going to get a Kevin Durant type package, right? You also don't want to settle for a Kyrie Irving type package. You want to get something in the Donovan Mitchell, where you get the draft capital, but you also get the Larry Markkinen, and whoever that may be, and the teams that are interested right now, that would be looking for Dame, have already made big-time deals to get rid of a bunch of draft picks. Hey, we brought in Paul George. We gave him 100 first-round picks and some swaps. Oh, we brought in James Harden. We threw Ben Simmons and some picks. Who was the other team? The Miami Heat are just a team that make deals? They just do. And again, with them sitting on their hands, for the first 25 of free agency, I knew that the Heat were up to something, and they're going to try their hardest to really get in on this because they missed on Bradley Beal. There's summer rumors that they weren't even really interested in Bradley Beal, but obviously, the idea of Bam and Jimmy Butler being this duo with the role players around them can get them to a point where they can be in the finals. But we saw that offense in the play on the finals specifically be so stagnant because Jimmy's dealing with an injury, but it's just not playing up to itself. They needed another go-getter. It's not that many go-getters better than Damian Lillard. Oh boy. So the Portland Trailblazers, I think that they could walk out of this, whatever the trade's gonna be, and still feel really good because Scoot Henderson's really a dog. Shannon Sharpe has showed us a lot last season that he's gonna be a dog. They already have a nice young core right now, and I'm not even counting Anthony Simmons. He's all know exactly what's gonna go on with him because he's making $20 million in the next season. But he is another young player that is good. The real thing is now you already signed Jeremy Grant to a 5-year, $160 million deal. And though there's no such thing as an untradeable contract, that is a ton of money. I'm looking at, there's another EuroLeague player coming over to the league going to Thunder. 3 years, $23 million. All right, that is a ton of money to be moved. And I think a lot of people are going to, at Jeremy Grant making $32 million annually for 5 years when he's already 29, and be like, that's a rough deal for us to make. So Jeremy, Nurse, these guys that are there right now, they might be there for a little bit. The Sixers have no interest in throwing Tyrese Maxey into a Damian Lillard trade. It's crazy.